Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the BSR MX5 Bunny Cup here for the season finale for the summer 2019 season. I'm Austin. I am joined in the booth by JJ Tubb, and the broadcasting cameras are brought to you by Marco Barbanera. And it's a new name you're seeing. That's JJ Tubb, also known as Tubbsy on Twitch. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm really good. How you doing tonight?
I am doing just fantastic. It's the end of a great season, and the championship was settled last race, so you have a great race to make your commentary debut on. It's going to get all elbows out today here at the wonderful Road America, also known as Draft Fest 2.0.
It's like the Spa of the Americas. I love this track for multiple different reasons. The main one is turn one. Not just on lap one, but every single time you come into that, after that long straightaway, going up the hump on the home straight, you go into that, and no matter what happens, the guy behind you has got enough draft that you are going to be in trouble if you don't defend. But if you do defend, you're compromising such a long straightaway coming off of that you're just going to keep getting that kind of damage attack, like, run at you for the rest of the lap.
Oh, yeah. Once you get a car locked on behind you, you're always in a massive battle. Talk to Tyler Maxson when he was racing here in real life, and he said it's an all-out fight. And watching these things race on iRacing and race in real life, it is so similar on how the races form up with each other, just without the netcode.
So, tell me about it. This season so far, you said that it got finished up last week. Give me a rundown of the season so far. If people are tuning in for the first time, if they haven't happened to have seen the series so far, what have they missed?
Well, our series champion, Carl-Jacques Gillette, he's running a special championship livery right now, and I believe he's on outlap. So, Marco, if you want to show that off to give Carl and his team a little bit of a congratulations on the well-deserved championship. But first race, unfortunately, I was not there, but we had a great race in Le Mans where that was insane. We went from long track to short tracks. We ran around the Nürburgring for a two-lap race, and currently Tyler Maxson is on a 5-race winning streak right now. So that is going to be very interesting to see if he can make that 8 this week. That is 2 weeks in a row that Tyler has had a full sweep of the top step of the podium. We've had a few first-time winners. I still believe that Charlotte on the Roval was our most interesting race with 2 cars, 1 and 2, both losing fuel in the last lap, and Scott Malcolm taking a victory at the very end of it. Zolder was home with the biggest crash of the season caused by Tyler Maxson. Got onto the grass, hit the wall, flipped over, and it became a parking lot, basically. Bathurst was interesting. And Sonoma was broadcasting in a thunderstorm.
Hey, wait, I need context for that. What?
Don't broadcast in a thunderstorm.
I mean, that's good life advice, but how? I mean, I don't want to say how did the thunderstorm happen, because that's like asking, why is the sky blue? But what?
I thought I could handle broadcasting in a thunderstorm, and I turned into a robot, so we brought in a different broadcaster. Marco, anything you want to expand on?
Well, now you said pretty much everything. So certainly, hello everyone, by the way. I think that once more this series has really proven to be a great place for drivers who want to improve on the racecraft, and it's refreshing and also very interesting to follow them as they get better and better. And no better example in this than our championship winner, champion-elect Carl-Jacques Gillette, who has rose through the ranks. We were talking with him last week after his title-winning race, and he was talking about how slow he was when he first started running in a BSR competition with the MX5, and now all of a sudden, 2 seasons later, he is a champion. So certainly hard work, dedication, and racing together with similar drivers of similar ability. If you put in enough practice, you can certainly rise to the top.
Yeah, we're actually watching a car right now, very close drafting on Tyler Maxson. So I expect this is going to be a great time for Carl-Jacques Gillette. We're still qualified with 1 minute left. Tyler and Carl, they're going to come across the line. I believe we're going to see a name shoot up the field right here. Tyler Maxson takes pole with Carl-Jacques Gillette moving up to 6th place. And that just shows you on how much the draft works. And Tyler pulls off, says, I'm not going to give you any more of my draft.
No, it's the great thing about the MX5 car. You know, iRacing introduced it as kind of like the introduction to road sort of car. It's the one that you sort of cut your teeth on. It's one if you've played iRacing, you know this car usually at the back of your hand. But the glory of it is that the double-edged sword. Once you get acquainted with this car and you know the quirks, and you know how it runs, you end up getting really tight racing amongst the leaders, and then it just becomes this, I don't know, this magic power that some people get to somehow lap 2 seconds a lap faster than me, and I'm claiming hacks on that. They've got something turned on that I don't in iRacing, because there are some people that when they get into this car, they can just drive it naturally and easily, which is a credit to iRacing as a simulator. You know, it gives people the chance to sort of hone those skills, but also means that even when you get to the top, that competition doesn't end. You keep going until essentially like we had with our championship winner, you start at the bottom and now we're here.
Yes. Pretty much summed it up right there. The MX5 Rookie Cup, not the original Rookie Cup. We have the Slowsters to thank for that, and thankfully they switched to this beauty of a car right now, as we're just waiting on a few guys to finish up on qualifying. This is a very long lap here at Road America. 2 minutes 30 seconds. 2 minutes 32 is the average time, not the 2 minutes 31 set by Tyler. The only car that 2 minutes 31, but I must say Tyler is a professional in real life. He does race these cars in real life, so he does know some real life tricks that translate on here. Doesn't lap this fast in real life, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, Road America, it's a deceptively long track. If you think about it, it's a 4-mile track, and sort of for context, you know, you look at Spa, that's only just shy of, or just over 7 miles, I think it is, which you know, doesn't sound like that much, but when you consider that these cars, you know, they aren't built for top speed. They're not built for these long draft straightaways that we get. So as you can see right now, as we're seeing this sort of battle going on towards the very end of qualifying, you end up getting this sort of like weird combination that you get really sort of tight fighting in amongst sort of the heavy braking zones like you do at the into turn 5, which is the bottom dip into the left-hander, or you get this massive straightaway where the two cars are basically going to be duking it out for the best part of a mile-long drag race.
Yeah, we're expecting I'm getting a 6-lap race as someone is going very loose right here.
Getting his dirt rally practice in there.
Yeah, Road America, also known as Road America Rallycross sometimes, by the amount of dirt that gets kicked up right now. As we're looking at our final few, we got 3 cars on tracks. One of them is a pro, and I believe driving that Family Guy livery was Andy Maxwell.
So we're coming up to the end of the qualifying here. We're taking a look at Max, and still on pole here, 2:31.986. That's not a shabby lap time to be looking at, and you know the top 7 cars are all separated by less than a second. But when you consider how long this lap is, and that equates down to less than sort of about 0.7% if my numbers are right, and don't quote me on that, I could be entirely off base. But that's still really close for a track that, you know, once we get into draft and we see these cars doing a bit more sort of pack racing, expect those lap times to start dropping down, particularly with what happens with the weather. If the weather starts to sort of drop a few degrees, we're really going to start seeing those lap times take off.
Definitely. The weather has such a big part with the amount of grip, and I believe it's in prime position right now because we do have 3 different races, one in the morning, one midday, so that's usually the crazy one, and then one underneath the lights or the headlights or sunset with very dark clouds above, and that should be a very good set of racing, but usually this is the fastest race of the day and the more calm race of the day, and it gets wilder and wilder, especially when we introduce the wheel after this first race. And for those who are just joining us the first time, Marco, explain what the wheel is.
Yeah, absolutely. After each race, race 2 and race 3, sorry, after race 1 and race 2, we are going to spin the wheel, and all the drivers that are on the lead lap or 1 lap down at the most will be eligible, and that will shuffle things around and hopefully provide for some more interesting racing, and you know, putting the quicker driver on a test of how good they are in traffic, as I think we have the starting grid coming up. You guys can take it very easy. We have the entire pace lap to talk about the starting formation.
All right, we'll just go by row then as the grid pops up, taking pole and the first row. It's Tyler Maxson, followed by Scott Malcolm.
Looking at number 3, we've got Carl Hardy here in the number 635 machine, followed shortly by Charles Kellerman.
In the third row, it is Martin Sampson and Andy Maxwell.
Mikey Key following up behind that, and Lee Deemer just shortly behind him.
Behind them is Dale Benison and your championship winner, Carl Jacquelet.
Someone who'll probably be very happy getting so close to Carl Jacquelet's time. Joel Mitchell will be coming in with the number 27 machine. And the Scotsman, Steve Cooley, coming in at number 12.
Going into the next row, it's Craig Jones and Phil Reagan.
And then we've got the Result Clothing team's Michael Barry, followed shortly by Steve Hansford, coming in for Team Optical.
And behind them, it's Alan Toon being the last of the Amateur Cup. And then we have the pro of Kip Stevens.
And just behind him, we have our Christian Brown and Wouter van Essen coming in shortly behind that on the 20th.
And following up at the back of the grid, he'll be starting with Alan Toon. It's Edward May.
And that will take us pretty much through the whole of the grid. So, like I said, this is the season finale. So a lot of these guys are going to be running through here, looking to kind of try something different, try something a bit more fun for this race. What are you expecting to see on the first lap?
Well, I'm expecting an all-out battle going into turn 1. Tyler Max is the one that's going to be deviating the pace, as he likes to tell me. When you get the jump on this track, you got to know when it is. But since the jump is going to happen on the straight, you really can't do it. So I'm going to expect a pretty slow start. And it's going to get chaotic, bit safe into the first and second corners. But going into turn 3, after that long straight, it's that tight 90-degree turn. That is where most of the chaos is going to happen, as we are rolling for the formation lap.
Yeah, it's an interesting start phase here when you do a rolling start of Road America. You've got a really long, nice straightaway, which means that the leader is he's kind of got to time it perfectly depending on the car that he's in that time. You've got such a long straightaway that if you leave it to the very last second, you haven't got that much of a distance between when the other guys can catch you up if they get a good start. But similarly, you launch that thing too early, you're going to end up getting so heavily drafted that are you even going to be able to hold that position going into turn 1?
You will be able to hold the position. The draft in the scenes is effective, but it's not a suction cup to car. We have a car spinning right now. I believe I just saw a car going sideways into the wall. Yep, there's smoke in the background. Was that? It looked like a year 1 car.
I mean, I'm no expert, but crashing on the pace lap is unideal at best. Was it number 107 of Edward May?
Evers May was by it. So,
someone got punted.
Hard
a little bit of the old argy-bargy.
Well, we were both wrong about the start of the race. It happened on the pace lap.
I was going to say, turn 3 was a bit ambitious by the sounds of it. He's going to get that thing towed back to pit lane so he can start from the pits.
Yeah, it's going to get towed. I do not believe we have fast repair. This is Phil Reagan, who's one who stopped there. So, Edward May broke hard, got the other car in there, and Phil was just collected. And that was the year 1 car that I saw. But a very interesting start to this race, and we're now just hitting turn 4 on the formation lap, by the way.
Yeah, you've got to feel bad for Phil Reagan on that one. I mean, anyone who's done GT3 knows that feeling. You're gridding up and someone just can't wait to go, and all of a sudden your rear end's just gone.
Yeah, we haven't seen that in the VRS GT series that is held on Tuesdays, but at this exact same time, actually an hour earlier, commentated by me and Tyler. Those are very fun to do that. We haven't seen any incidents on the formation lap, but it has happened. It happens to me on ovals a lot, so those are crazy. But I've never actually seen that happen on the MX5s until today. So,
well, I mean, yeah, well, I was going to say the official iRacing series, they tend to be standing starts, right? So best you're going to get there is someone jump in the gun and just decided, that's it, I'm just flooring it and trying to make up all the lost time.
Yeah. So everyone at a good pace coming down Speedville. Somebody's off-roading right now.
Somebody's taking that rallycross idea to heart.
Yeah, that is Kip Stevens. Okay, he's just messing with us.
In the Danger Mouse machine. Shout out to that paint job.
That's Kip Stevens being Kip Stevens for us.
These guys going to be coming up to the last few corners before we get started. So you're thinking all the action's going to be turn 3. That's where your bet goes in?
Yeah, I'm going to be betting turn 3. for the biggest overtaking opportunities. Turn 1 and 2, from what I've seen in all my experience on iRacing and real life, people usually try to take it a bit cleaner. I'm going to say in the later races, it might happen in turn 1, but I'm going to say it's going to be pretty clean to turn 1 and 2.
Okay, you're going with turn 3. I'll go with turn 5. I like that sort of a downhill jump. We'll see what happens there.
Ooh. All right, well, the Porsche safety car is approaching the pit lane. Everyone is lining up. Tyler Maxson late on the gas, and who is going to get the jump off first? They're coming up the hill underneath the Caterpillar side, and we are green, and going underway, and we're racing here at Road America for the final round of the BSR MX5 2019 Summer Series.
Yeah, and we've got a good start so far. No issues on the home straight, which sometimes is a bit trickier than it sounds. Coming down into turn 1, we're going to see if we can get through there safely.
Scott Malcolm and Carl Hardy got a great jump at that start as they run into turn 1, and we are all clear through there. So we're looking back from Tyler Maxson on Scott Malcolm and Carl Hardy. As, ooh, up onto the inside comes Scott Malcolm, almost rubs the bumper of Tyler Maxson as we're heading down this long straight into turn 3. This is where the draft really brings it out here in Road America. We're going to have a lot of cars close up and spread out in the braking zone. I see Carl Jacqueline moving outside the draft and going to the outside of the car. Here comes Scott Malcolm looking to get a jump on Tyler Maxson, and in the background is Carl Hardy as they're going into the turn 3. They're braking hard. There's an obstacle car going very late in there, and they've all made it through there cleanly. A little bit of oversteer from some of these cars. Oh, we got a car almost going sideways. He's lost positions. That is Craig Jones.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate to lose the grip there. You lose a lot of your momentum going into here, but you can build it back as we're going into the carousel. It's a deceptive corner. It's very slightly off camber. Oh, sorry, no, not carousel.
Turn 5.
That's the one that I was talking about. It's very slightly off camber, catches you out of grace there, and now we're going through the carousel, also off camber. It's a very common theme throughout this track.
Yes, being in American tracks, we like being weird sometimes.
Yeah, there's right turns here. I'm not sure that sort of applies to most American tracks.
Oh, out of the carousel. That's Scott Malcolm. I was thinking of a comeback. I almost completely forgot that, but Scott Malcolm got out of the outside curve, right onto the grass, and he got slammed into the wall. No safer barrier there, so that was a hard hit for Scott Malcolm. He definitely has suspension damage. So it looks like he went onto the inside of the track and swooped out and rode onto the grass, and that just shot his car off. Yep, curve
spits him out.
plus grass, and that's the wall. So we are both wrong there. It was the carousel.
It's just a very lethal track all over. There are some points that we've got more people going off wide as we're going into the last corner of the first lap.
That's Carl Jacqueline. Our championship.
Seem to have straightened out. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. Carl moved up the field by 6 places right now, showing everyone why he is the championship winner in that special gold and teal year 1 livery. As Tyler Maxson leads everyone out down for another lap of what I assume will be a 6-lap race. And look at Carl Hardy. Carl Hardy diving down to the inside, and he's got Martin Sampson joining him as well. As they're heading into turn 1, we have a new leader. That is Carl Hardy. Martin Sampson looking to make some moves on Tyler Maxson, but Tyler's going to stay right there and rejoin the line. But that was a very tight pack. Carl Jacquelette's also in there. Now we're looking back from Carl Hardy onto Tyler Maxson. These two have a little bit of rivalry going on with each other. It got very rough between the two in Snetterton, where Tyler got the name of Tyler Dive Bomb Maxson. Will we see a dive bomb heading into turn 3? And here comes Tyler, and we won't even need to see a dive bomb right here. Tyler's already got the lead by a car length.
Now he's got to be careful here because Hardy could come back in and attack for a second time, which he does. Chooses to go up the inside. They both seem to give each other enough racing room there. Nice and wide curb coming off here, but he's got to get back onto the track.
Oh,
okay, managed to succeed there.
What a rejoin by Tyler Maxson. Going wide, and here comes Carl Jacqueline on the inside of Martin Sampson, but unfortunately cannot do it. Carl Hardy goes a little bit wide, takes up a little bit of grass as we're heading into turn 5 right now. Very fast turn. I don't even believe you lift off. It's just pedal to the metal, especially in these cars. We have a little bit of inter-team battling as one of the result clothing cars in the obstacle looking up the inside. That is Mikey Key.
Yeah, very fortunate to have not got tangled together that down there. Like I said, that wide runoff area turn 5 is, you can survive turn 5, but if someone's rejoining the track, you've got to give room one way or another, or else you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad time if you just get off of line in this track and outside the drafts, because these cars, they aren't the fastest, but they'll ooh.
That's definitely not the fastest line through there.
That's not fastest, and it's not the safest, I must say.
1x.
1x, yeah. Heading out of that straight, getting into the back of Tyler Maxson. That's Carl Hardy getting back into him. Tyler dove on the braking there, but Carl Hardy is very aggressive, trying to get on Tyler Maxson to break this winning streak that he's on. As this front group is so close to each other as they're heading into the final corner. Carl Jacqueline has got up into 3rd place. As these two are still side by side, Mikey Key and Charles Kellyman.
Yeah, there's definitely there's an interesting battle going on in here between these sort of top 5 guys. They're not separated by much, and although there's quite a lot of space between them, don't forget that with these cars, that gap they've got between them, that's about 2 tenths. They're going to be able to claw that back on the straightaway, and we're going too wide potentially into turn 1.
Tyler Maxson defending onto the inside, and Carl Jacqueline moves into 2nd place, and around the outside, it is Carl Jacqueline and Tyler Maxson still side by side, nose by nose. These two MX5 drivers, the championship leader and the winning streak machine of Tyler Maxson, as they head into turn 2. Tyler Maxson is going to take the lead as they're 2x2 behind him, Noah's Ark style. Carl Jacqueline.
I'm so glad you did that. Oh, bump drafting at Road America. This is going to end either brilliantly for the two of them or terribly.
Well, this is a successful bunt draft. I don't see any damage, but Carl Jacqueline swoops in front of Carl Hardy right there. Carl's not going to be happy. Carl's going to give Carl Jacqueline a little bit of bump draft. Carl goes a little bit early on the brakes, almost gets bumped by, he does get bumped by Martin Sampson, and then gets sent into the back of Carl Jacqueline. Just a little light tap right there. A little bit of oversteer happened into the back of the pack, but Carl Jacqueline sitting in 2nd place now behind a Tyler Maxson. And round turn 4, they go up the inside. That's Martin Sampson.
Yeah, that too wide through there. You'll see a lot of single file coming out through the second half of the lap. The corners don't really sort of, don't really brood the sort of too wide racing around the end of the race. At least not very around. That's, these guys are getting quite feisty, and we're only here on what, lap 3?
Yes,
and
lap
somebody's
3.
out.
Yeah, Alan Toon looks like he got a lot of oversteer right onto the curb and the grass outside of turn 5. We're going to see what's happened for him right now. May have got a little bit of bump late on the brake. Hopped onto that inside, hopped over the grass, and yeah, you spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby. Right round, round, round. And there it goes into the wall.
Very lucky not to have collected too much damage from that front wall impact, but we'll see what we can do with the rest of the race. We've still got a long way to go.
Hello, Mazda.
We got a little bit of time to go, giving each other a little kiss going up there.
Yeah, Martin Sampson under pressure and loses that in the brake zone, but he goes wide, and he's going to get that position back with a little switchback right there. As these two are still going side to side. Mikey Key has the inside line. Martin Sampson around the outside. He'll have the inside line now, but I believe Martin Sampson is going to keep that position until the front straight.
Yeah, these guys are definitely sort of duking it out. We're seeing the top 3 start to peel away now. They've noticed how they're the 3 that aren't battling too much. They're just kind of trading paces, not fighting too hard for their individual ones. They're playing the late game. They're going in for the last lap shootout, these 3. And it might pay off, or you never know what will happen here. The rest of the guys could pack up and catch him as well.
Yeah, the sudden slowdown of these cars, once you get over the hump, if you're in that draft, that car in front of you is going to slow down that much. You will actually have to lift and do a little bit of fuel saving, which is what Carl Jacquelin's doing. He's not going to challenge Tyler that much. Tyler has a little bit of reputation of being a little bit too aggressive. We see Martin Sampson getting into the grass and getting overtaken by, he's put up a little bit of fight right there. But Charles Kellyman fighting with Martin Sampson as we're looking back from Mikey Key, who's having a great show in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, it's always that nervous thing when you see 2 guys battling behind you. You just pray that you don't get collected or anything if they do get caught up. But going back to the leaders here.
Ooh, here comes Jacqueline up onto the inside of Tyler Maxson. They both get onto the brakes a little bit early. Who has a better brake bias? And Carl Jacqueline hops over the curb. A little bit of bad rejoin. Tyler Maxson gives a little bump and run. And Carl Hardy's up on the back of him as we're heading into turn 3. Tyler Maxson up onto the curb. We've seen that, how it doesn't work out for a few drivers, but Tyler Maxson retaking the lead. But Carl Jacqueline on his inside now, as this is a great 2x2 battle. And Carl Hardy wants to be a part of this, but he has the best seat in the house, honestly. That's why we're on board with Carl Hardy. Oh, and there's a little bit of bump. Carl Shacklet got to the back of Tyler Maxson, and now Carl Hardy has taken the lead going into the carousel. And look at, I believe that's Mikey Key.
Mikey Key, yeah, no, he just managed to jump up and gain an advantage from that. That's some smart playing through there. Commentators cursed by me for saying these two guys were packing up and not having a battle. They are going at it.
Yeah, here is the battle right now. We might need a replay of what's happened in that corner. I believe Carl Shacklet got laid onto the brakes and tapped Tyler Maxson in the back end, and that has promoted Carl Hardy. And judging by Tyler, I haven't seen him make a mistake on his own, except with his shoulder, where he goes wide into the grass. But Tyler dive bomb Max is setting it up into the inside of the final corner, out of that 8 long straight, and he almost gets it, but Carl Hardy is defending as hard as he can. Now, going up, they have all rejoined back now. This is great racing.
This is absolutely amazing. This is the point where you can tell everyone that's even within sniffing distance of the first position, they're just sat there like, all right, we've played the long game now. We've played it safe. Right now, it's just go time for the rest of the race here.
That is one damaged rear end for Tyler Maxson. Yeah, Carl Jacqueline and Owen, they're getting side by side. Mikey Key onto the back pedal of Tyler Maxson. He had the pace coming out there. Mikey Key is going to jump into second place. And Tyler Maxson is a sitting duck right now. Carl Jacqueline might give him a little bit of a bump draft in love. But as they're heading into the turn 1, they're still side by side. Carl Jacqueline gets loose. He got into the grass.
I think he had a bit of help. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to have to see that one again. We've got a couple of the guys piling up again. We've got top 3 going back together. That's Hardy, Maxson, and Key all deciding to go back in for a battle into turn. Where are we up to now? I got so amazed by that. Oh, here we go. Here's the replay. All right, let's see what happens here.
So, Carl Jacqueline gets in front of Martin Sampson. I believe he might have braked a little. Yeah, Martin Sampson gave him a little bit of tap.
Yeah, and you know what? That I'm just going to chalk down to a racing deal. He was, I can tell what happened there. Jacqueline was looking at the 3 in front of him, gave himself a bit of room in case there was a bit of the old argy-bargy in front, and unfortunately that didn't get communicated that well to the guy behind him. But we're back with the racing of the top 3 here, and there's another fight going in for the 4th position as well.
Same corner, but this time Mikey Key's the one that held up, and Tyler Maxson gives him a little bit of bump. And heading into turn 4, Carl Hardy goes a little bit wide. Mikey Key staying into the middle of the track. Tyler Maxson follows the racing line. Tyler Maxson is going to have a good pace outside of turn 5. Mikey Key goes wide and into the gravel.
He's rally crossing. He's managed to get it back on, and I think he's okay, but he might be losing the position here.
Yeah, he's lost 2 positions right now, heading into turn 6. Tyler Maxson back into second. Mikey Key.
It's the same thing that happened with, who was it, Toon earlier on, that had the exact same thing happen to him, clipping the curb on the inside. He managed to bring it back onto the track, and we're getting some real highlight action through these MX5s here tonight.
Oh, Mikey Key still having car control issues with Tyler Maxson bringing it off-road style outside of the carousel. So they're going 3 wide, I believe, in the background. I think that is Mick Berry having a little bit of trouble, and I think one of his tires might have a little bit of suspension damage, but he is handling that really well. I just saw a very kinked out tire, and here comes Mick Berry upside going inside of Tyler Maxson. I'm saying words that aren't really words right now. This is just great race.
I was going to say, it's hard to focus on your words when you have such great racing going on in front of you. Looking at these guys here, they aren't giving an inch, and they really are trying their best to try and make this a final lap shootout. Are we coming to the white flag now?
Yes. Marco, I believe you have a word that you always say, and I'm not going to embarrass myself by failing it, so you can say it this time.
Sale la Blanca! White flag is out in race 1.
I think it's a Circle La Blanca in at the Nürburgring, and I just said to myself, I'm never going to say it again. But as they're heading down the front straight for one final time of the first round, Tyler Maxson and Mick Berry going side by side into turn 1. Berry has the inside line, so Tyler is going to take it easy and snoop back inside of him as Carl Hardy has a comfortable half-second lead, which is not comfortable really in this good 4-car battle for first as they're heading into corner 2. The draft is heavy. Will Tyler get a good run and might challenge for the lead right here?
Is he going to go around the outside? It's a brave move coming into turn 5 here.
Yeah, as they're heading into turn 3, Carl Hardy defending onto the inside, actually being a godsend to Mick Berry, and he gets a big speed boost. Now, Tyler, he does have a damage on his rear wing, as that's Charles Kellyman. No, that is Mikey Key still going wide. Tyler Maxson looked for the inside line, heading into turn 4, and oh, McBaron goes wide into the grass, and Tyler Maxson is going to snipe it up around the outside of turn 5. He squeezes past him, and now Hardy and Maxson, these two have had a rivalry going on all season. They're going to have a rivalry going on all race today, as Hardy has a little bit late move. Tyler all over the back end, and now he's all over the outside line, and we're going side by side around the carousel. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts. You're in for a wild ride right now, and I can tell you, you're going to love it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a drag race coming down here. We've got Barry sort of poking his nose in, and then, I don't have any words.
Coming across the nose is Carl Hardy. Tyler Maxson trying to get around the blocking of Carl Hardy. And McBarry, I think McBarry might be the dark horse in this situation as Tyler Maxson takes the lead. It all comes down to this breaking point. Tyler dive on Maxson breaking early. That's something I thought I'd never see. But he gets the switch back off. And Tyler Maxson outplayed Carl Hardy. Hardy was expecting a dive off from Maxson, where he got his nickname from, but Tyler Maxson absolutely fooled him with that one. Great move by Tyler, and that is why he's won 5 races in a row, and I think we might have to add another notch to the tally as McBarry goes a little bit wide. He's under pressure for Charles Kelman, but as they're coming down the front straight, Carl Hardy gets onto the grass, and Tyler Maxson goes up the hill, and long 21 minutes later, we're going to have 6 wins in a row for Tyler Maxson, followed by Carl Hardy, McBarry, Charles Kelman, Mikey Key, and Sampson.
Yeah, it was definitely a well-deserved win there. That last lap was intense, and he did well to keep himself on the track there. We saw quite a few people getting loose, just coming off the corners, clipping the curbs a bit too hard. You can see how hard they're fighting for this and see how much they want it. Even though it's the last race of the season, a lot of them still got a lot to prove.
Yeah, everyone is going for those final season high hopes. There's a good song as Kellyman. I think he's just very happy to finish 4th. He's doing some good old donuts. You got 2 more rounds to go, buddy. I expect a good smoke show at the end of the season, at the end of race 3.
Yeah, it'll be a good way
Kellerman's definitely happy. He's definitely happy.
To be honest, I think anyone that managed to finish that race towards the end, they were really gunning for it. That top 6, that was something special to take a look at there. There was close racing all up and down the field. I mean, 2 wide through the carousel. You don't see that every day. You particularly don't see it every day when they both survive.
Yeah, that was I was expecting a little bit of chaos happening between Maxson and Hardy, and I think he blew his engine doing some donuts as we're waiting for Scott, Malcolm, Allen Toon, and Edward May to come across the line. And it's a long track, so we have a little bit to talk about. And I kind of want to see that overtake that Tyler did, because that was a great fake out move. Carl Hardy went deep expecting a dive bomb, and Tyler just broke early, knowing that he's gonna just outsmart him. So
yeah,
here's
the interesting dark horse here. Look at Barry up in 3rd here. He was very close to sort of poking his nose in.
Yeah, Barry was just looking around, and Tyler Maxson was on the outside, so breaking early. Carl Hardy goes deep. McBarry, I am very glad that McBarry avoided contact right there, and that was a great textbook move by Tyler Maxson.
Yeah, I think maybe race 2, race 3, I think you put in that same scenario again. We might see Barry decide to lick the stamp and send it a bit further into that corner, but still great racing nonetheless.
Yeah, great racing for race 1. I believe our results are up, and yes, they are. And I'm gonna let you read through the results.
Right, okay, so as we all just saw there, Tyler Maxson taking an astounding victory, taking it into the last lap there. Followed shortly by Carl Harley and Michael Barry, very close to getting a second place finish there, but managed to come over with a respectable podium finish. Taking up the rest of the field, we've got Charles Kelvin, Mikey Key, and Martin Sampson. Those 3 were battling a lot through the remainder of the race. And following on down the field, we've got Dale Bennison, Joe Mitchell, Andy Maxwell, Carl Jacquelet, who unfortunately did get caught up in that little spin earlier, so couldn't quite get his way a bit further up down the field. Walter Van Essen, Steve Hansford, Craig Jones, Lee Deemer, Kip Stevens, Phil Reagan, Steve Cooley, and Scott Malcolm coming up in 18th. And then just behind that, we've also got Alan Toon and Ed May, who unfortunately did finish a lap down, and Christian Brown, who couldn't quite make it to the end there.
Definitely a great race 1, and I think it's time for our favorite moment of the stream. Let's bring on Marco Barbanera to spin that wheel.
Yes, and it should be on your screen right now. Of course, each number corresponds to a number of cars that will be reversed. -1 will be the full grid -1. of the eligible cars, of course, while -2, -3, -4 will give us a full reverse. So let's roll it. The grid says -4, which means a full reverse of all the eligible cars, and that means after his very, very unlucky crash on the pace lap, Edward May will have the pole in front of Alan Toon, Scott Malcolm, Steve Cooley, and Phil Regan will round up your top 5. So, Austin, it was an exciting race 1. I think one of the best races of the season. And yeah, just have to wait a bit for race 2, no? Austin has muted himself. I was talking alone like an idiot. Now he is back. the beauty of being live, and so it is my great honor to, well, get on with the commercial break, and we will be back very, very soon for race 2. Don't go away.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Howdy, 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 and welcome back to the BSR MX5 Money Cup season finale. We're here at round 2 at wonderful Road America here at Elkhart Lake. The wheel has been spun, and JJ, why don't you bring us through the grid?
Right, okay, so we don't need to take this too fast. We've got a long pace lap coming through here. So Phil Reagan taking our pole position here. Don't forget, this is a reversed grid, so we're going to see the grid reversed and flipped around from us. Don't know why I just explained that. The reverse grid is pretty self-explanatory. We've got Craig Jones following behind him, and then starting up with the second row, we've got Steve Hansford and Carl Jacquelet. And why don't you take us through 5 through 10 for me, please, Austin?
I definitely will. Driver OSL HCon Racing, it's Andy Maxwell, that number 5, starting in 5th. He is joined up in the 3rd row, followed by Joe Mitchell for Team Optical, that number 27 car. Starting 7th for Year 1 Racing, Dale Benison in that number 37 beautiful MX5. Starting beside him, it is Martin Sampson for Automech Knockhill in that 79 car. Starting in 9th for Result Clothing, it is Mikey Key in that 69 car. Let's see what you did there. And starting in 10th place, it's Charles Kellyman for Team Optical in that 67 car.
Perfect. And the reason why I wanted to start taking over with the 11th place, start, is Michael Barry. Now, I'm going to call him my shadow sort of pick for the race. I reckon he's going to be the one we should watch. He did some really interesting racing towards the end of it, played it smart, but also was aggressive when he needed to. I think coming into the second race, that sensibleness, that calmness, throw it out the window, Michael. You crack on. Following him, we've got Carl Hardy, who finishes up our top 12. And just behind him, we've got Tyler Maxon and the number 87 of Steve Cooley, Scott Malcolm and a fellow Scotsman chasing him from behind, and then Alex Toon taking up 16th.
Starting at 17th, it is Edward May for Fury Sport Academy, followed by the professional field of Christian Brown for OSL HCon Racing, Wouter Van Essen for the same team, and Kip Stevens. And at the very final position, it is Lee Dimmer for Excite Energy iRacing in that 68 car. Now, you're probably wondering, why is Tyler Maxon starting at 13th? Well, the other people were a lap down, as Marco has shown, so Tyler Maxon will be starting at the lowest position as possible, which is P13. Now, I want to say, your pit, McBarry, he's going to have a lot of workout, because we've seen Tyler Maxon do some crazy stuff on one lap.
Yeah, we've had some interesting racing going back into the last one, but Michael Barry, I don't know, I just kept seeing him at the corner of my eye. It might be something to do with the giant pink race car that he's in, but I keep seeing him at the corner of my eye, and he was always in there, he was always near the action, but he was always just an inch away from, you know, completely destroying the car, but also close enough that if the moment anyone made a mistake, he was jumping on it and making gains. So I reckon that he's going to do well here. As that patience starts to wear off, as he starts to really get feisty for these last couple positions, he's just going to keep going for it, and that gets me well excited.
Yeah, we saw him start around in this position earlier on in that first race, so I highly expect he will do exactly the same thing in the next race. Well, in this race, don't know what I'm talking about, but McBarry was in the background of the first race. So I expect he has some experience moving up through the field, but he has 2 wild horses behind him, Carl Hardy and Tyler Maxson. Carl Jacqueline, championship leader, he'll be up at the front for most of this race. He will be starting at 4th, but Phil Reagan and Craig Jones, these two have some fun behind them as they're about to kick an entire hornet's nest. And we're going to watch a great show happen down the front straight as they head through Canada Corner. If you don't know why it's called Canada Corner, that's the closest corner to Canada.
I did not know that. Really?
Yes.
I did not know that. You know, I like interesting facts like that. Hit me with again.
Originally, this track was called Elkhart Lake, which is the city it's named, but now it's called Road America because, well, it's a better name, honestly.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It has more of a ring to it.
Yeah. Well, the Porsche Shades car pulls off all suddenly. Everyone's bunching up, and it's time to let these boys fly as they're going up the hill. And here goes Phil Reagan jumping off at the start.
Yeah, he's going for that early run down the straight. He's actually got a pretty good run here. I think he managed to get a sort of get the jump on the rest of the pack, so he's going to be pulling away. But you'll see that gap disappear as we start going down towards turn 3. That's going to start disappearing as we're going to... Looks like we got some 2-wide action coming into turn 1.
Looks like Carl Jacqueline has already been involved in an incident. His rear end has a little bit of a bend to it, but as they're heading into turn 1, they're going too wide, and Carl Jacqueline is already going for it around the outside, and he's going to take up P3.
Coming into turn 3 here, your favorite corner of the track so far tonight.
Turn 2.
Oh man, you know what? I'm just... The thing is, I had turn 2 in my head, but you know when you say it, it just doesn't come out right.
It's all good. Technically, that is turn 3. There's a little bend mid-corner that is turn 2, and you know us Americans, we count every single bend as a turn. I'm not a typical American. I'm weird. But as we're heading into turn 3, is there going to be an incident? Oh, it looks like the HCOT obstacle clothing guys get into a little together. They're going all 3 wide. I see Tyler Maxson diving in to avoid an incident. That's Mikey Key going slowly. As they're heading into turn 4 around the outside, Phil Reagan and Craig Jones still going side by side into turn 5. This is your turn.
Yeah, this is the one that I seem to have a lot of issues with when I'm driving it, but through here. You guys seem to have single filed out pretty well for a lap 1 race. He says...
Craig Jones up onto the inside. Phil Reagan almost chopped the block with him as we're heading into the carousel. And it looks like Carl Jacqueline wants to get in front of Craig Jones as much as they can. As going around, that is Edward May being spun. And I think that was Steve Cooley who was the pit maneuverer.
Pit maneuverer?
He hit him.
Yeah, the punter.
Carl Jacqueline goes wide, but he's going to keep it, and he's going to... keep it going. No!
Look it down. Don't kill everyone.
Tyler Maxson's around. Tyler Maxson's around.
I saw someone getting loose.
Maxson's around. Tyler Maxson is around the city in the middle of the track. The streak is over as he's being towed back, and that is a destroyed car. We haven't seen a crash like that since Tyler Maxson and Zolder, so we're gonna ride on board with that. Carl Jacqueline spinning, Tyler going. He just got caught up by the car behind. He got turned. Absolute chaos in race 2, and this is why we love the reverse grid wheel. So a above head view of Carl Jacqueline. He got loose into the Fast King around the DRS side. Crazy rejoin. Thought he saved it, but he got turned. And that was the number 37, and that was Dale Bennison who turned Tyler Maxson around. I think Tyler would have said that Dale was not there. As we're heading into turn 1 once more, Craig Jones and Phil Reagan now battling out for the lead. So the championship leader and the streak record holder are out of the race.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for him there. You know, there's not much you can really do when a car gets loose, particularly in that part of the track. It is a lot narrower than you think it is. You know, a lot of the modern tracks that we get, like, you know, Circuit of the Americas. We have these nice wide open areas where people can run off as much as they like, and there's no penalty. Tracks like Road America, I love it, because no matter what happens, if you come off here, you're either losing a buttload of track time or your race is over.
And look at Martin Sampson. They both had an interesting corner going into turn 3, and Martin Sampson shoots the gap and takes first place heading into turn 3. Turn 4. Dang it.
You're doing it as well now. I'll tell you what, credit for that move, though. Putting it thread the needle. That was some great moves there by Martin Sampson.
Absolute fantastic move by Martin Sampson. We're going to take another look at this as they're heading into the braking zone. Craig Jones around the outside. Oh, we had a wreck behind him. Different replay as, oh, Steve Henson gets tagged at the end. I do not know which year 1 car that was that tagged him.
Cheeky bit of the old argy-bargy going in there.
May have been Steve Cooley. Not pointing fingers at anyone.
Not pointing fingers, not calling anyone out, but it was totally this guy.
It may have been. It was a year 1 car. But as we're back, as we're back into the lead, Martin Sampson leads out Craig Jones and Phil Reagan. They're followed by Maxwell Mitchell and Mikey Key. And moving up through the field, I do see Michael Berry. He hasn't been moving up a lot, but moving up 8 spots, it is Kip Stevens. 9 spots, it's Kip Stevens.
Yeah, he's done pretty well there. I mean, I'm just taking a look here, seeing where Michael Barry is. He's made up 1 spot. I'd like to see a few more. I'm holding out hope. I think he can make it up for, make it sort of a couple more positions game, but we are getting just enough action within the top 3 here. Martin Sampson still leading the pack, but you know, with Road America, this first half of the track is deadly when it gets into, and we're seeing a second string of cars going along 2 wide further down the field. Yeah,
2 lines forming right now. I think the front 3 have a little bit of advantage over that pack forming up behind them because they are not following the main train. They have that car on their left on that main train, but it looks like Craig Jones is making a move on Martin Sampson, heading up into turn 1. Sampson broke very late in back end. It looked like it was getting a little bit loose. He's going off the track, and Craig Jones retakes the lead. And Phil Reagan's going to try to follow suit heading into turn 2.
Yeah, that was just a case of too little too late there. Tried to cover up there, but excellent capitalization by Mr. Jones pulling away in our first place here. Starting to see the front of the pack bunch up again. They like to be taking it too wide at the moment. It's like, calm down, boys. We're only on lap 3, but I'm liking the animosity of it.
Oh, they're going 3 wide right now. Going 3 wide. Oh no! They got very loose, and the Family Guy car absolutely murders him. He pushed him off the track, came right across. That is 80 Maxwell and Mikey Key getting in together. And, well, we saw this. Andy Maxwell and Mikey Key, they tried to go 3 wide, and the Family Guy car was defending that position so hard. And that's just aggressive defending right there. He was aggressively blocking that, and, well, karma strikes fast for you. If you try to push the car off the track here, you're going to get paid the price, and yeah, that's karma.
Yeah, I think that in the murder case that's going to follow that will be listed as Exhibit A, and it will be the one and only piece of evidence needed, because that was straight up murder. Unfortunate for those 2 guys, but we're carrying on with the rest of the pack here. We're following along with Martin Sampson again, pushing up from 2nd place into 1st as much as he can. Did you think we're going to see a dive bomb coming up through here?
I don't even think we're going to even need a dive bomb. Martin Sampson going around the outside. A quick rejoin of the track. A little tank slapper, but he regained control. Martin Sampson, what a save by that at 120 miles an hour. Yes, we're using American terms here.
Oh, we use miles an hour anyway. No one actually uses kilometers an hour. That's the one that we ignore. The metric system is brilliant, apart from the the kilometers an hour bit. We ignore that one.
Okay, as we bring up the miles per hour speedometer.
So as we're taking a look through here, Sam's going to keep it. He's going to keep it. Sorry, I'll get my words out eventually. Keep it down into 3rd coming through here. Get a nice run off. And it gives you a nice long run. These cars don't really top out that much, so you kind of just sit in the draft and pull away with it.
Yeah, Martin Sampson is going to be lined up for a brilliant move up on the straight. He's not going to get a good speed boost until they head underneath the sign. So he's lined up Craig Jones, and here comes Martin Sampson up onto the inside as they're side by side having a good old American drag race heading into turn 1.
Looks like Sampson's made it, and he's clear. Is he going to overbrake again? No, manages to get it turned. Jones can't really do too much at the moment. Looking down, going this downhill section here, he's going to file back in, and we haven't got too much to worry about going back through. I think that 2nd pack, we're probably going to see more of a fight from them going into turn 3 or 5, depending on which way you're looking at the numbers of the turns are.
Yeah,
at the
they're
moment.
going to catch up as look at Phil Reagan goes way off the track trying to join up with these guys. As Martin Sampson has a pack of angry bees behind him. Craig Jones pulling out of the draft, not having any help from Joe Mitchell, who's going to the outside as we're going to go 3 wide. Sampson blocks off Mitchell. Mitchell backs away. Look at the move by Kellyman, though. up onto the inside, turn 3, everyone goes off track. 1x, 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 1x.
Kellerman slamming the door on Reagan as he comes in through there. We're seeing 2 wide back again with Jones and Sampson. These two are at each other's throats this race. And is it going to end pretty? That's the real question.
Well, we saw it in the first race where it did end pretty and no one got really hurt, but we saw 2 absolute murders by championship favorites and incredible guys that we see at the front. So I believe we're going to see somebody have a great race as another car goes off track. That is Mitchell once more. And his teammate of Kellyman on the back of him as they're going around the carousel, and cars going all over the track. Usually you want to keep one line here, but you can get very loose and end it all wrong.
Yeah, and there's 2 wide here going through this backstretch kink. This is when it starts to get a little bit dangerous going through here. It's very narrow, very easy to go off, and we've seen it so many times today. You set one wheel off, that little kink is going to ruin your day.
Oh, speaking of one wheel off, that was Carhart. That was the 87 of Steve Cooley going one wheel off right there. And up the inside, that is... Wow, that was one of the year 1 cars. That was Kellyman. No, that's Phil Regan.
Yeah, Regan's paying the price for it. You had to go around the outside through this turn here. It's not one that you particularly want to be going through the outside. Yes, okay, you've got the inside line going up into the last corner of turn 14, but you're just not going to make it stick going through with that. So following back up with the leaders here, once again, we're going to see another dive through to turn 1 is my prediction here as we see Charles Kellerman putting another move up on the home straight.
Yeah, it's very predictable drafting style here. You're always going to have a certain side-by-side action, especially after you go over the hump. The draft is just so powerful in these cars that Craig Jones is going to swoop up to the inside, and we're also seeing Carl Harding swoop up to the inside. And actually, well, your prediction was wrong, and so was mine, as they're just rejoining up with each other. And coming out of turn 1, Carl Harding, he's got a little bit of speed on Kellyman, and he's going to go up to the inside into turn 2, but going back into the draft and onto the race line. Smart racing right now on lap 5 out of 6.
Yeah, there is something to be said for sort of poking your nose in as many corners as you can, but not diving for it. You don't want the guy in front to think that you're dive bombing every. Eventually, that just leads to you both losing time because he goes on the defensive way too much. But it's good to kind of try make sure that you widen his mirrors. He can see you there, and he knows that you're waiting for an attack. Now, is this what we're going to see going down here into the left-hander? I think Hardy's probably been a bit smart than that in the moment. He's following it off. But those top 3s, they're getting nice and close at the moment.
Oh, Craig Jones moving off to the inside of the track, pushing Joe Mitchell. Forcing Joe Mitchell to rejoin the racing line as Martin Sampson got a big hit of oversteer right there. Saw his car jolt off to the right after shooting off to the left. He's recovered that, but this front pack of 6, where have we seen this before? If you say race 1, you win. Don't know what you win.
Well, you win internet points.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. You get all the internet points in the world that you like. 1 million internet points to use, sir. Looking at these guys closing up again. We've got Sampson starting to pull a half-second gap, but that's not much. That closes down towards the back straight. We've got Mitchell just following Jones behind us. We've got a great view of these two battle now. Amazing
view as we head through the kink and down as what I like to call it Speedville of these 2 trees and through these fast S corners. We're heading into Canada corner onto the brakes. Are we going to see a dive from out of nowhere by anyone? No, we don't. They hit the apex, run a little bit wide outside the exit of Canada corner. And up through these final turns as we're going to head into white flag time.
So we're heading into the last lap here. We're starting this. Oh, I thought Kellerman was going to poke his nose in there, but he thought a bit better of it. He's going to try and make the run down the home straight. Now, he does have the protection of Hardy's teammate following in behind him, but Hardy's going to come under attack if he's not too careful.
Yeah, Kellyman under pressure from Mitchell behind him, but look at the battle for second. That's Jones. He went to the inside. Now he's on the outside, but now he's cornered by Martin Sampson. If he keeps his pace, he's going to have to make it 3 wide and bully Mitchell down to the inside, but he's going to break early, stay in that draft. Martin Sampson leads it off going into turn 1. And Phil Regan went off going into the grass as Kip Stevens also goes off to the grass as we're heading into turn 2 on the last lap. Oh, a little bit of traffic jam. Accordion happened up right there. It looked like Hardy got to the back of Kellerman. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kellerman, he didn't really want to put too much of an aggressive move on Mitchell. You know, the teammates don't need to ride each other that hard. But it seems to have cost him a little bit, gave him a little bit punt in the rear end, which nobody seems to like, but we're going too wide here.
Oh no, Mitchell! He got outside the draft of Craig Jones and he went onto the grass and he paid the price. He had a little bit of oversteer and lost control, and he's sitting a big pile of smoke as his car abracadabras out of there, and he gets towed back into the pits. But that is one car out of this 5-car fight for the lead. Sampson, Jones, Kellyman, which one of these are going to win it? We also have Hardy on the back of it and Phil Reagan, who's just sitting back there. I think he'll be like a vulture waiting for scraps right now. So we're heading one last time around the carousel.
I think Samson's got in the bag, provided that he doesn't do anything silly and doesn't overcook his braking marks. It's very easy on the last lap, particularly in your pole. You get excited, you stop thinking about things, you're looking in your mirror more than you're looking ahead, and all of a sudden that braking zone's gone 50 meters behind you and you are just going off into a wall. So he's got to keep his cool here, but I think he might be able to do it. This last little kink's going to be a bit of a challenge for him, though, depending on what run Jones gets.
Yeah, Martin Sampson under pressure by Jones. Here comes Jones. Jones looking for that inside move. We've seen this not work in race 1. Is there going to be a switchback move? They're going side by side. They're battling it out. Craig Jones has the inside line. Martin Sampson's going to try to power out. He gets into the ground just a little bit. Craig Jones not leaving any room. They're side by side heading in to the 2 final corners, and through this fast flick, Martin Sampson has the inside line. Craig Jones gets a little bit loose on the exit, and now Craig Jones is under pressure by Kellyman and Hardy. Carl Hardy gets into contact with Kellyman, and Martin Sampson leads him out. There's crashing behind Kellyman. Reagan steals P3. Craig Jones and Kellyman. No, yeah.
Yeah,
and
no, you're right, yeah.
And finishing, winning race 2, Martin Sampson survives the field, followed by Craig Jones, Phil Reagan in 3rd, and your pick in the last. Coming up in 4th.
Come on, Barry. I know I shouldn't show favoritism, but come on.
Oh, he snuck out of nowhere. It was absolute chaos for P3. We're going to watch this replay from Joe Mitchell. Joe. Oh. Craig Jones put a little block in a door close, and he just upset the car on himself, and that was a 1-car incident. Now, in the final corner, we're going to switch it up to Carl Hardy and Phil Reagan.
Now, see, I think what happens here is I think Hardy overdrives it and I think he comes back on, clips it, there we go.
That's a murder. And Phil Reagan stole that.
And there's Mr. Barry just driving on by, keeping his cool. And wow, that was surprisingly a better race than race 1.
Did Carl Hardy finish that reverse?
If he did, 10 extra bonus points for style.
And Tyler Max has actually gone out on track and doesn't want to be known as the guy who got taken out earlier on the race, and he's one to finishing a race. So good props on Tyler. Jacquelette's also finished out. Oh, he's blew his engine.
Yeah, good credit to these guys. I'll give him a gentleman's award from me. I'm giving out all the awards today. I don't know why. These mean nothing. You can redeem them nowhere. But yeah, good sportsmanship there. A lot of guys, they get out of the race and they're just like, yeah, I'm just going to park it in the pits, wait for the next one. But they chuck it back out on the track and give us a bit more interesting racing if they can. So good on them.
Yeah, good racing by everybody, and what a interesting race too. Well, you thought the first race was great battling. Second race, crazy.
Yep, I'll agree with that. Good.
Third race, all out madness.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with madness or apocalyptic. Those are my 2 calls.
All right. Well, who's gonna win race 3?
Ooh.
You gonna stick with Barry?
You know what? I'm gonna hit it. I hope. I'm just gonna keep the faith and keep the passion and go with yes.
All right. Well, after race 2, it's time to bring up these results. Anytime now.
There
they are.
Why don't you take us through our race finishes?
Martin Sampson takes the win, followed by Craig Jones, Phil Regan, Michael Berry, Scott Malcolm, Steve Cooley, I heard that, Dale Denison, Edward May, Buttiman Essen, Carl Hardy, Alan Toon, Charles Kellerman, Steve Hansford, Carl Jacquelet, Phil Morgan, Joe Mitchell, Kip Stevens, Andy Maxwell, Mikey Key, Tyler Maxson, Lee Dimmer, and Christian Brown.
Yeah, that was an interesting race there, and I think all jokes aside, Michael Barry did a good job of managed to bring himself up P4. I think he qualified like what? I think he was put on P11, if I'm right in saying that. I think that's where we ended up getting on the qualification. But that was just some real great racing there, and I was just really proud of all the guys who managed to get that through. It did get a little bit hectic towards the end. There was a little bit the old argy-bargy. But the other thing you'll notice is that a lot of those accidents, a lot of them just come down to simple mistakes were made, but that just shows the pressure that these drivers are under to perform well.
It's high pressure, and it's going to get higher pressure as we bring in Marco Barbanera. Marco, it's time to spin that wheel.
Yes, a bit sad because the final reverse wheel of the season. But alas, it's time to go through this. Of course, we will be back in 2 weeks' time for the fall season, so that at least it's the positive. And what fantastic racing we are having tonight. So we have 19 cars eligible for the reverse, so good on Maxon, Chocolate, and the other guys involved in drama to keep going. They might be helped by the reverse grid, which should be on your screen right now. So let's roll it. Nope, not close at all. The smallest of the season, 6. I don't think we've had in the past couple of seasons combined such a small reverse. And so, Steve Cooley will start from pole. Scott Malcolm, Mick Barry, Phil Reagan, and Craig Jones, your top 5. Race 2 winner Martin Sampson will start very close to the front of the field, 6th place. So lots and lots of work for Giacoletta and Maxon and other very quick guys if they want to, come home with a good result in race 3. I think this is the... And hopefully the doorman didn't come to ring your bell this time. Austin.
Oh, no, he didn't, but my PayPal did ring. Thank you for the bribe, by the way.
I think that this is really one of the smallest reverse that I can remember in this championship.
This is absolutely the smallest reverse grid, so it's going to be the same 6 people we saw battling out all of last race. And I'd say the biggest one that you're going to be happy about, Mick Barry starting in 3rd. JJ, sum it up for us.
Right, okay, so this race that we've got coming up here, we've got top 6 spinning it. Let me get that one out right. Top 6 spinning themselves around, going into the last race here. The rest of the field will finish as they gridded or as they finished up in race 2. And considering that those last 2-3 laps was nothing but 2 wide overtakes into pretty much every single corner that we saw, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys for tuning into race 2 so far. We'll see you in about 5-6 minutes coming into race 3.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. And we're back for one last time. Round 3 of the season finale here at Road America for the BSR MX5 Monday Cup. And we're underneath the lights, well, the lights of the headlights of these cars. And it's sunset conditions, 55% humidity, 2-mile-per-hour wind, 18 degrees Celsius temperature for a American track. Marco, if you can give me a little translation for that.
For context, the previous race we just did, I think was what, 37 degrees? So
Yes.
It has dropped down a lot. So we are going to be seeing potentially slightly faster lap times, and hopefully for quite a few members of our field here, we're going to see a little bit more grip just in case they get a little bit squirmy.
Yeah, the grip is going to be much, much more. And as the wheel has been spun, we're going to bring you through the grid. And we're going to do this. We did it by row. We did it by group. We're just going to do it by driver now. Steve Cooley for Year 1 Racing will lead everyone out.
So number 2, we've got Scott Malcolm, a fellow Scotsman, coming in second.
Number 3, this is your guy, Michael Berry for Result Clothing.
And following him, we've got Phil Reagan in the number 60 machine.
And he's followed by Craig Jones, also for Result Clothing.
And then we've got Automech Knock Hill with the Samsung number 79.
He's followed by the number 37 of Year 1 Racing, driven by Dale Benison.
And following with yet another Result Clothing, we've got Carl Hardy in the 635.
And he's followed by the Privateer, number 65 of Alan Toon in 10th.
Our first of Team Optical cars, followed by Charles Kellyman.
His teammate Steve Hansford will be right behind him in P12.
Carl Jacquelet making his way through the field in the last race, but unfortunately couldn't get it done. Our first line of cars.
He's followed by Joe Mitchell for Team Optical, that 27 car.
OSL HCOM Racing supplying us with Andy Maxwell for the number 5 in the 15th position.
And he's followed by Result Clothing of Mike Key in that 69 car.
Fury Sim Sport Academy providing us with Tyler Maxim in the number 774, our first American.
Only American. And in 18th for Excite Energy iRacing, it's Lee Dimmer, that 68 car.
And we've got a Wouter Van Essen in the number 15.
He is followed up by the one, the only Kip Stevens in P14, with the number 14 car.
With the number 14 car. And 21st position goes to Christian Brown in the number 18 for OSL HCON Racing, who I believe finishes off our grid for the last race.
Yes, it does. And we got to the carousel again, so...
It's alright, we've still got another 2 minutes to finish. What was your... Give me your highlight of the season. What's your favourite moment?
Oh, there are so many. The Zolder parking lot, that was absolutely a highlight, crash-wise. Not for Tyler Maxson. I think he wants to forget that. Just an absolute massive crash. But I said it at the start of the broadcast. Charlotte, race 1, I believe, where it was Tyler Maxson and Carl Jacquelet, both of them battling for the lead, and then they both run out of fuel in the last corner, and Scott Malcolm takes his victory, which I believe it was his first ever victory in Charlotte. So that has to be my favorite moment, and Scott's favorite moment as well, because that was a win coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're always the most cherished ones, the ones that you don't expect them yourself. You're just happy they happen.
Yes. Marco, what was your favorite moment?
Absolutely, Scott's victory. I think it was his second overall victory in BSR competition, but certainly the one that came in the most unexpected way. So that was every time Scott wins, it's a popular win up and down the paddock and even here in the commentary booth.
Well, he is primed and ready for victory. He's starting P2 alongside with Steve Cooley as the poor safety car pulls off. It is going to be for the last time, but they're going to be side by side going up the hill. Mick Berry is catching up with them, but I believe they are going green, and racing for one final time underneath the lights at Road America. And Scott Malcolm gets an absolute beautiful start and takes the lead. Mike Berry and Phil Regan. And, oh, they're going 4 wide in the background. I believe Tyler Max is in that scrap. That is the Hansford that who was going wide. Mikey Key's actually the one going wide. But as they head into turn 1, Malcolm, followed by Cooley, Regan, and Mike Berry is your leading 4.
Yeah, we're getting some nice, interesting 5 wide for the last race of the season. No holds barred given in this race anymore. No one cares. We've got 6 laps to go. Why not lay it all on the table? You don't have to fix the car left after the race.
Tyler Maxson messaged me mid-race saying, it's either move out of the way or I'm going to move through you. So expect a lot of moves by Tyler Maxson, who's already up 6 spots.
There we go. He's doing a good job here. We've got 2 wide coming down the downhill section here. Is it going to be the outside run going onto the curb? We've got a big pile coming behind us.
Up the inside, Scott Malcolm takes the lead, and they're going 2 by 2. That is Michael Berry making a good move outside of turn 3. And in turn 4, Michael Berry, he turns him around, and that's Phil Regan around. And Mick Berry is still going on. There's a oh my goodness, that was a big hit. Alan Tui is collected in there. That is Joe Mitchell also collected in there. There was a big pile up of cars on the end of that corner. That was on the apex of it. So a lot of cars had to take evasive action, and that has given Scott Malcolm an amazing lead. And if you get a certain distance away from a car, around 2.5 seconds, you're outside the draft. And we're going to get a replay of this coming out of turn 3. We see Mick Berry up onto the inside. He sent it all the way up into turn 4, and he did not see him.
Yeah, I think that was just a case of, you know, he just tried to turn in for his corner and forgot the other guys trying to do that as well.
Joe Mitchell trying to go around the outside of him, unfortunately taking himself into the wall. As we're back onto this side straight. For a second, I thought Scott Malcolm was a pace car. That's how far in front of the field he is. But as they head into Canada corner for the first time out of 6, a little inside action from one of the cars up ahead. That is Carl Hardy up on the inside. He's having a little bit of a battle with Dale Medicine. Tyler Maxson moves.
There we go.
Yeah, he's moved up into P11th.
And oh, that was a bit cheeky there. Who was that in the black machine in the optical racing?
That was Kellerman.
Yeah, that was a little bit cheeky, if you ask me. There was a little bit of argy-bargy, but these are touring cars. They can take a bit of a beating. So carry on, boys.
Sorry, MX5s. And Carl Hardy getting the wave around from Carl Jacqueline. Carl Jacqueline staying onto the inside because Carl Jacqueline has a car on the inside and he wants to stay that drafted. And we might be seeing a little bit of 3-wide action from these guys heading into turn 1. Now Carl Jacqueline has the window wide open. No overtakes from these guys as they're just going to keep it nice and clean through here as we're looking back at Scott Malcolm, who has a commanding lead, but it is falling down because of that draft. And that is Mick Berry following right behind him. And I know you two have a little bit of a connection.
Yeah, you know what? I just picked up on it, and you know what? I'm glad. I had a good gut feeling, and it's going pretty well here. We've got Malcolm's lead has dwindled down now. That is naturally going to happen because of the long straightaways here. We're not going to see a dive bomb coming in from the second place of Barry, but the car seems to have single filed out a little bit more now, so hopefully... Oh.
Tyler Maxson sending it up onto the inside. Carl Hardy tapping him into the rear just a little bit, letting him know that he is here. Tyler Dieball Maxson sitting in 9th place.
Yeah, it's starting to get a bit feisty through here. Following Phil Regan at the moment in the fight for 3rd position. He's followed close by Sampson and Jones here. We're not going to see too much 2-wide going through here, and I think the carousel's going to be pretty clean.
Oh, Tyler sent it up the inside. Tyler sent it up the inside. Oh, wait, no, that was Hardy who sent it up the inside. He's taking out Jacqueline. Jacqueline with a very risky rejoin, but that was, I thought that was a car going up the inside. I immediately thought, well, I know which driver that is, but no, it was Carl Hardy trying to show Tyler Maxson and get out of his way and move up position. But unfortunately, he made that easier for Tyler Maxson because he got not 1, but 2 positions right there. And now Mick Berry up onto the inside. They're going side by side. The 2 result clothing cars are 1 and 2 in this race, and they are absolutely ecstatic to be in this position. And Scott Malcolm is going to lead off Mick Berry right there. And these are 2 fan favorite drivers. Scott Malcolm. Everyone loves Mick Berry. Also, everyone loves, and you love a lot.
Yeah, they're going to be good on a good show for us. Now, it's going to be a bit of a dice roll here. Do they fight it out over right now, trying to keep that first position and potentially lose position on, or lose track position on third? Or do they try and line up, just get a little bit further ahead? Because like I said, they haven't got that 2.5 second sweet spot. The draft's still going to be there, still going to be taking an effect. Are the guys in the second pack going to fight hard enough that they'll hold themselves back?
Well, one of the guys is Tyler Max, and he is the dynamite in this case. So if there's an incident that will cause these guys not to catch up, he will be in the base of that. But Scott Malcolm giving the position to Michael Berry, and Tyler Maxton has been spun around. Yep, there he goes, up onto the inside, and that was Dale Benison on the back of Tyler Maxton. That he was onto the inside, and Tyler does a donut, and I think there might have been a turn right here, but this is going 3 wide into turn 1. Tyler Maxton way behind everybody, goes hard on the brakes, and just turns into Dale Benison right there.
Yeah, there's not much he could have done there. I mean, he was already 2 wheels right up against the edge of the curb. Any further and it would have been a bit harder for him. But Michael Barry loses position again. Seems to be trading it with Malcolm in first place at the moment. Just sort of swapping it out.
Oh, but it gets a very slow acing into turn 3. Michael Berry had the great ace, and that is one beat-up car as Phil Regan has joined the fight for first. And he's going to be sitting in third behind the 2 result clothing cars. And with these 2 teammates fighting with each other, that is going to be something he loves to see. Because 2 cars fighting with each other, that means they're going to go slower. As, ooh, a little bit early on the brakes. Oh, Scott Malcolm goes wide, and here comes McBarry into the lead, followed by Reagan in second. And I see Sampson also joining the fight as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he got a little bit of a helping hand going wide through there, but they're still on the track, all 4 on still, so this should be good to continue keeping on. MX5's nice sturdy car. This can take a bit of a beating, and it looks like we're going to see a bit more 2 wide if you like it.
Yeah, we're going to see a good old race 2 wide, but there's only 1 car leading off the draft, and you're going to have to join the other car in the draft to make it 2 wide here. As we're looking back at this league group, Mick Barrett, Phil Riggett, Scott Malcolm, Martin Sampson, Mikey Key, and Craig Jones up to the inside. That's Scott Malcolm and Mikey Key as well. Try that inside line, no moves for anyone right there. They're just all trying to rejoin back and try to chase down the leader of Michael Berry.
Yeah, no one's giving any 2 inches here. They're all just deciding, right, that's it. There's only 3 laps to go. It isn't that long for the remainder of the race. We've only got about 10 minutes left of the season going along here, so no one's deciding to give up. Everyone's going fight. We're seeing 2 wide straight at the beginning of the back stretch. Let's see what happens going into T1.
Craig Jones is out of the draft, and he's going to be hurting a lot because Martin Sampson is in the draft now, and Craig Jones is just trying to get any side draft, but he's not going to be helping. He's going to be a sitting duck right now as they're heading into turn 1 for lap 4 out of 6. Michael Berry almost coming into contact with Phil Regan. Phil Regan had a great jump on him right there.
Yeah, that massive lead that Barry had. You see it dwindle down on the home straights. That drop worth gonna get it sent on the inside by Reagan. Doesn't quite make it stick, so he falls him back as we go down the backstretch here. But now we've got 4 cars, nose to tail. This is making up for an interesting penultimate lap coming up next.
Yeah, this is where all the action happened. Oh, Michael Berry! He got tapped, and unfortunate for Michael Berry. Phil Regan gave him a bump and run, and that's turned Berry into the grass. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to look at this replay. And yeah, Berry tried to force it out, and he gets hooked by the 6'8" of Phil Regan. Few cars taking avoiding action right there, but unfortunately, Berry is out. And are you all right?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was crying a little bit there. I had to meet the microphone, but we're back in it. It's all right. I'm sure I'll survive. It was a bit of an unfortunate situation there. A little bit of a pump by Reagan, but Robin's racing, I guess. We're just going to carry on with the Packers. We've got it. Malcolm's still in 3rd place. Looks like he's going to be pushing on through. Pack split up a little bit, but we should see that dwindle down as we come on to lap 5.
Lap 4 in, out of Speedville. Here they come, and Phil is going slow as Mikey Key is going to take the inside line and swoop around the outside now, coming up into Canada Corner. And we have a new leader. It is, Ooh, Phil Regan very lit on the brakes, and Phil Regan's going off. And Scott Malcolm's going to take third, as well as Craig Jones. And I think he might fall to Dale Benison as well. And yes, he does. Martin Sampson around the outside. That is a disastrous mistake for Phil Regan right there. And Mikey Key, up 15 spots from where he started the race, is up into first.
Where on earth did he come from? I didn't even notice him coming up the field. That is an amazing play by himself. Well done there. Malcolm on his way up to second, kind of by default because of the mistake there earlier on. Result Clothing topping out our entire podium finish, it looks like.
They want a strong finish to end off the season on the penultimate lap. It's Result Clothing 1, 2, 3. Mikey Key, Malcolm, and Jones, followed by Benison, Reagan, Kellyman, Sampson, Stevens, and Maxwell in that massive front group.
Yeah, we've got a great little gaggle going on here. So it looks like Michael Barry, if we just have a look through the field. Yeah, he's in the pits. He's out. I'm unfortunate for him. So, you know, rest in pieces. Sorry, buddy. You gave it a good shot. But,
see you next season.
Yeah, exactly. He's got next season to look forward to. Mikey Key, though, absolute domination station coming from here. Holy hell.
Yeah, he does have this lap and then our very last lap of the season to worry about as Craig Jones, woo, very dicey on the brakes as Mikey Key goes a little bit wide. They all go a little bit wide, following each other off the track. They have to just worry about teammates and not hitting each other and protecting your teammate as Mikey Key is doing some yard work for Road America right there.
Yeah, he's got the lawnmower out, touched it to the underside of the car, but that's okay. Still keeping it on the track here. Very surprised at the amount of talent these guys have in terms of there's a lot of guys, yeah, they do get it off the road, but they can bring it back on and save it. MX5, nice light car, very easy to get loose, under the throttle particularly. Once some weight's gone off the wheels, you can't really do much to save it. They're doing a good job here. Key's pulling away a little bit, but it looks like there's a fight going on between the Result Clothing position 2 and 3.
Yeah, Scott Malcolm and Craig Jones are battling with each other. We saw a little bit of dicing for position in the carousel, and that is what's getting Mikey Key this lead he's getting right now. Now, it will fall down in the straight unless these two decide to go side by side and absolute chaos breaks loose, which will be great for views, I must say. So they're heading into Canada corner, and no moves are happening from the guys behind, and it looks like Craig Jones got a little bit loose right there. And they are closing in on Key now after that little short straight and coming in to the final corner.
Yeah, Mikey Key doing a good job of here leading from the front. There's a very small gap that he's starting to pull out here. I think that's mainly helped by Malcolm and Jones fighting each other out. But Benison and Reagan, they seem to be pushing on for a fight for the last lap. It's going to be a great one coming up here.
And for the last time of this season, it's white flag racing. Here at Road America, Mikey Key leads out Scott Malcolm, Craig Jones, and Dale Benison. As this massive group of cars heading into turn 1. Scott Malcolm, can him and Jones work out a deal and try to chase down Mikey Key? Or will they keep this inter-team battle for a team spot of next year?
I mean, they're being very respectful. They're not doing much, but they've got to be careful. They're leaving themselves open to Dale Benison and Phil Regan all coming in from behind them. They're leaving themselves open because that gap is going to dwindle down. I've used that term far too much over this. But it is. It's going to start falling down if they don't start picking
They're not even
up.
in the draft of Mikey Key. Finally, Scott Jones, Craig Jones finds out what Mikey's doing, and he's going to set it up to the inside, and way late on the brakes he goes. And he goes way off the track, gets it a little bit onto the gravel right there. Doesn't dig a hole and pop a tire, but he gets past of Scott Malcolm. Mikey Key's lead is down to a second. Well, it's up to a second because it's still pulling away.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's gained about 4/10 over this lap alone. He was only about 0.6, 0.7 away ahead. But that's just what happens when you get some clean air on your nose. You don't have to worry too much about the mirrors. You can just put in some consistent lap times. That's clearly what Mikey Key's doing here, and he's just doing a good job of it. Very surprised that Benison and Reagan haven't closed the gap too much on second and third place. I'd have liked to have seen that a little bit more, but we do have the rest of the lap going, and that is quite a long time in these MX-5s.
It is definitely a long time for these cars as they are coming down out of Speedville for one last time, running along the curbs underneath the lights. of these headlights and a little bit of sunset we have. So we're coming up into Canada corner. Are we going to see a send from way back in the pack of this front gaggle of cars? Scott Malcolm, is he going to try anything? No, he doesn't. They have one more real corner to go. After these few kicks, it looks like Kellyman and Reagan are going to have a little bit of a dicey battle. But Mikey Key up 15 spots. What a way to end off the season with a dominating victory here at Road America.
Yeah, that was really well played. I mean, 15 places. I think that's the most amount of spots gained we've seen over this race weekend. I mean, you can tell me about the rest of the season, but that was a really impressive.
Domination is one word that Mikey Key knows, and he's going to take the victory. And we've had 3 different race winners in our final race.
Each one of them, I felt, has been equally deserved as well. It's not like we've seen one driver just get to the front and drive away with it. It seems to be there's been some good in-fighting bounce the pack, and as always, a little bit of luck's required just to avoid those extra wrecks.
Luck was definitely required, especially at the start with cars just spinning around the track. Not as many cars spinning off the track as we saw in race 2, but Mikey Key takes victory in the final race of the season, in the final round of the season, and what a memorable season has it been.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to take a moment to just thank all the drivers for taking part in the season this year. Been some great sportsmanship going on up and down the field. We've seen some great racing. And ultimately, this was a great way to end off the season. I couldn't think of a better way to finish that race.
Yeah, words are escaping my mouth right now. That is honestly the best way I could think of a race ending. The American in me could think of something else but I'm pretty sure it would cost a lot, and it would be a lot of bent body parts, and there might have been a giant crash.
Might not pass the health and safety inspection.
Yeah, no. And it would involve a stadium truck and fire.
And a tank.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I think we've got one last driver to finish it up through. Oh, no, we've got 2 last drivers who got across the line. Am I right in saying that? Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, we do. We got Alan Toon and McBarry.
Yeah, I mean, he still brought it home at the end at the end of the race. Really unfortunate for him there. It's just one of those things, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's racist. Sometimes you're gonna have incidents, whether or not it's your fault or not, whether you deserved it or not. Incidents are always a thing, and coming across the line, finally up the hill he comes. It's Alan Toon.
And that will be
The race.
the end of our season. Okay, if we go over chuck through the race results here.
Yes, we do. Mikey Key takes the win, followed by Craig Jones and Scott Malcolm. A result clothing absolute dominated podium there, followed by Dale Benison and Phil Regan, Charles Kellerman, Andy Maxwell, Martin Sampson, Steve Hansberg, Carl Hardy, Joe Mitchell, Vuta Van Essen, Carl Jacqueline, Steve Cooley, Michael Berry, Kip Stevens, Alan Toon, Tyler Maxson. And they're followed by Lee Dimmer and Christian Brown. And that has been your race of the season finale. Thank you for joining us here on Apex Racing TV. Marco, is there anything upcoming?
Yes, absolutely. Tomorrow at 10:45 GMT in the morning, European morning, the IMSA Strength of Field race official for the Oceanic region. Then later at 18 GMT, we're going to have the VRS GT Sprint Series at 7:50 GMT. iRacing Esports Network, the season finale of the MX5 Pro Series. And of course, don't forget tonight, in a couple of hours, Rick Motek will be on here on Apex Racing TV as well. On Wednesday, the debut of the new season of Sim Racers World Media Day for the first time in series history on the iRacing Esports Network. That will be at 7 GMT on Wednesday. And on Thursday, the end of an era, the final race of BSRTC with the Kia 750 GMT here on Apex Racing TV. On Friday, iRacing Le Mans Series at 7 GMT. You don't want to miss that. Another season finale. Saturday we take a break, and Sunday we will be back for round 4 of the Apex Racing League British GT Championship at 7:15 GMT live from Snetterton. I think Austin standing by with you. We should have Craig Jones.
Yes, we do. Let's bring him in. Oh, he's already in. Welcome, Craig Jones. How's that?
Yeah, brilliant night racing. Really enjoyed that. To finish the season with 2 second place wins. Very happy with that. Gutted about race 2 though. I felt I could have got first place. I had to be respectful and give him room to come back on the track. But yeah, still really good in racing. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, race 2 is full of chaos and madness. Anything you want to say about some of the stuff you saw?
I didn't really see a lot, to be honest. I was concentrating on playing the game that I wanted to play. I wanted to stay behind Samson and let him take the pressure of being in front. And it was always my intention down the back straight to try and get the jump on him, which I almost done. Probably went a little bit too hot into the corner. But you know, it was still good racing. I have heard a few whinges about some incidents that were happening going around that race. But yeah, I didn't physically see anything as of yet. I'm sure you guys captured it really well on the stream.
We did. It was disastrous and beautiful at the same time.
The best combination.
Yes.
That's BSR for you.
JJ, anything you want to say to Craig?
Yeah, I mean, that last race, I've just got an interesting question. The three of you, Mikey and Scott, those last couple of laps, you seemed to be giving each other nice, respectful racing. Was there a little bit of team play going on there to finish off with the podium at the end of the season?
Not really. I think it kind of all just happened and unfolded. Mikey's definitely gained a lot of pace recently, so I can't quite remember where he started in that race, but he come through the field nicely. There was a couple of opportunities where he got very lucky, one being down the back straight, and then I think when Nick got taken out as well, he kind of dived onto the grass, held it quite well, and came out on top. And that's just the way it goes. But nothing to take away from him. He's been fantastic. He showed some real good performance of late. I don't think it was necessarily. I don't think if you asked us at the start of the race, would we be coming across the line P1, P2, and P3? That probably wouldn't have happened. But it's certainly nice that it did. I was stuck in P3 behind Scott, and I was sat there. I did feel I was quicker. I was umming and ahhing about whether to make the move. As you guys would be fully aware, Result has a reputation for, let's say, taking each other out now and again. And I didn't want it. I didn't want that to happen on the last race of the season. But luckily, we made a clean move, which got me up to P2, and Scott managed to hold on to P3.
All right. Well, thank you, Craig. And before we go, anyone you want to shout out for the last time this season?
Yeah, well, one of the main reasons I actually jumped in. So I wanted to thank you guys for a brilliant stream. It's always really entertaining to watch, and I know there's been some comedy names being thrown into the mix as of late, and a certain someone playing around with paints. So it's always good that you take that, and you have a laugh and a giggle with us. It's my final season as admin, so I will be standing down as admin. I'll probably be floating around in the background as support of some kind. So hopefully the league will continue. Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's 2 weeks to find someone else to kind of take the reins and move it forward. But I certainly think it's done what it set out to do. There's lots of fresh drivers that have come in, and you can really start to see where they were a few months ago, and they've certainly progressed at a massive rate. And you've got, great guys like Alan Toon. He needs a mention. Absolutely fantastic. He turns up every week. He's got a massive smile on his face. You will never meet a nicer guy, and he just keeps trying. He keeps absorbing all the information that everyone gives him. and I'm sure in a season or two's time he'll be up there fighting at the front.
Yeah, we saw the same thing with Carl Jacqueline between last season and this season, and it's absolute great story by both drivers, and it's always going to be a season, a racing series that a lot of people are going to turn out to see. And thank you for all the hard work you've done.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, I believe that'll be it. So thank you everybody who's tuned in. Thank you, Marco, for broadcasting this wonderful season. Thank you, JJ, and all the wonderful guest commentators we had throughout the season. It's been a wonderful season, and it's brought a massive smile on my face for this being my first full iRacing season. Being with this wonderful cup, I have a massive joy on my face. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you everyone just watching this and supporting the series. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.